Hey everyone, thank you so much for having me, Steph, and thank you for trusting me with this conversation because confidence is one of those words we hear all the time, but very few people actually slow down and define what it really means in their own lives. When people look at me today, they see confidence. They see the business, the brand, the speaking, the events, the life. What they don't see is that confidence was not something I was born with. It was something it was something I built slowly, imperfectly, and very intentionally. Confidence is not loud. It's not perfection. It's not having it all figured out. Confidence is a series of decisions you make when no one is clapping for you yet. Today, I want to talk to you and walk you through what confidence actually looks like in your mindset, your finances, your career, and how you show up as a woman who wants more. Now, let's talk about what confidence really is and what it's not. Confidence is not the absence of fear. If you're waiting to feel fearless before you move, you'll stay stuck forever. Confidence is the willingness to move with fear. It's saying, I don't have all the answers, but I trust myself to figure it out. Confident people are not wired differently. They simply stop outsourcing their belief. They stop asking, what will people think? Am I good enough yet? Who am I to do this? And they start asking, what happens if I don't try? Why do I need to become if I keep? When people look at me today, they see confidence. They see the business, the brand, the speaking, the events, the life. What they don't see is that confidence was not something I was born with. It was something I built slowly, imperfectly, and very intentionally. Confidence is not loud, it's not perfection, it's not having it all figured out. Confidence is a series of decisions you make when no one else is clapping for you yet. Today, I want to walk you through what confidence actually looks like in your mindset, your finances, your career, and how you show up as a woman who wants more. Now, let's look at what confidence really is and what it's not. Confidence is not the absence of fear. If you're waiting to feel fearless before you move, you'll stay stuck forever. Confidence is the willingness to move with fear. It's saying, I don't have all the answers, but I trust myself to figure it out. Confident people are not wired differently. They simply stop outsourcing their self-belief. They stop asking, what will people think? Am I good enough? Who am I to do this? And they start asking, what happens if I don't try? Who do I become if I keep choosing myself? Confidence is not a personality trait, it's a practice. Now, let's take you on my personal confidence journey. And let me make it very personal. I didn't start being confident. It didn't started unsure. I doubted myself. I played small because it felt safer to blend in than to stand out. There were moments in my career where I knew I was capable of more, but I didn't yet believe I was allowed to want more. As women, we're taught to be grateful, not ambitious, responsible, but not bold, polite, but not powerful. For a long time, I checked the boxes. I followed the rules. I waited for the validation. I waited for someone to tell me I was ready. That moment never came. What came instead was discomfort. The quiet realization that playing small was costing me more than taking a risk ever could. Confidence didn't come from one big breakthrough. It came from small, uncomfortable decisions, having hard conversations, betting on myself, and showing up even when I felt unsure. Every time I kept my word to myself, my confidence grew. Confidence is built through self-trust. Now, let's look at confidence and money and when it really shows up. Money has a way of exposing where our confidence really lives. Your relationship with money often mirrors your relationship with yourself. People don't avoid financial planning because they're bad with numbers. They avoid it because they're afraid to face reality. Avoidance is not a money problem. It's a confidence problem. Confidence with money doesn't mean being wealthy. It means being aware. It looks like being willing to look at your numbers, asking questions without shame, making decisions instead of delaying them. Confidence says, I may not be where I want to be yet, but I am in control of where I'm going. Now, let's look at confidence in action and how you build it daily. Confidence is built in ordinary moments. It's built when no one is watching. It looks like following through on promises to yourself, making the call, sending the email, posting the video, and showing up imperfectly. Confidence is a muscle. It grows with resistance. If you avoid discomfort, you avoid confidence. Stop waiting to feel ready. Start acting like the future version of you already exists. Ask yourself, how would a confident version of me handle this? What should she stop tolerating? Action creates confidence. Now that we've talked about what confidence is and how it's built and how it shows up in your identity, your money, and your actions, I want to take this conversation even deeper because here's the truth. Most people don't talk about. Confidence doesn't just impact what you do. It impacts what you tolerate. It impacts what you say. It impacts what you walk away from. So let's talk about confidence and tolerance. One of the clearest indicators of confidence is what you allow in your life. Low confidence doesn't always look like insecurity. Sometimes it looks like over-explaining. Sometimes it looks like people-pleasing. Sometimes it looks like staying too long in a situation that no longer fits. When your confidence grows, your tolerance shrinks. You stop tolerating disrespect guised as jokes, relationships that drain you, work that underpays you, environments where you have to dim yourself. Confidence says, this no longer works for me. And that decision can feel terrifying, especially if you've built a life around being agreeable. But confidence isn't about being liked. It's about being aligned. So we're going to talk now about confidence and boundaries. Boundaries are not walls, they are standards. Confident women don't set boundaries that control others. They set boundaries to protect their energy, their time, and their future. If you struggle with boundaries, it's often not because you're bad at saying no, it's because you don't trust yourself enough to handle the discomfort that comes after saying no. Confidence grows when you realize discomfort is temporary. Self-betrayal lasts much longer. So let's think about confidence and failure. Let's talk about failure because confidence and failure are deeply connected. Confident people are not people who never fail. They are people who are not defined by failure. Failure becomes data, feedback, redirection. Low confidence says, I failed, therefore I am a failure. Confidence says, I failed, therefore I learn. Every version of you that you admire today is built on past failures you no longer see. So, this is where confidence and reinvention can exist. So, confidence is required every time you reinvent yourself. Anytime you outgrow a version of your life, your confidence will be tested. Reinvention requires letting go of old identities, being misunderstood. Start before you feel ready. Confidence isn't staying the same. It's trusting yourself enough to evolve. So let's go into now confidence and visibility. Let's talk about being seen. Many women say they want confidence, but what they really want is certainty. Confidence does not come with guarantees. Being visible means being judged, being criticized, being misunderstood. But it also means being recognized, being respected, being aligned with opportunity. Confidence says, I am willing to be seen for who I am and not just accepted for who I pretend to be. So now let's talk about confidence and comparison. Comparison is one of the fastest ways to drain your confidence. When you compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20, your confidence will collapse. Confident women use comparisons as inspiration, not evidence of inadequacy. Someone else's success does not threaten yours. It expands what's possible. So let's dive a little bit deeper into confidence and time. Confidence deepens with age and experience. What once felt impossible becomes normal. What once felt intimidating becomes familiar. Confidence is earned by showing up year after year, even when the progress feels slow. So let's talk about confidence as a daily practice. Confidence is not a destination. It's a daily decision. It's asking yourself, what would the confident version of me choose today? What would she stop tolerating? What would she invest in? What would she walk away from? Every answer builds the next version of you. If I could leave you with one final truth, it would be confidence is not becoming fearless. It's about becoming self-trusting. The more you trust yourself, the less you need validation, the less you need permission, the less you need approval. Confidence is choosing yourself again and again, even when it feels uncomfortable. And that version of you, she doesn't arrive one day in the future. She is built one decision at a time. Thank you so much for having me. Have a lovely rest of the conference.